day 15 of the 31 days of BPD, and today I'm talking about triggers. So this is a word that I really want you guys to be using. It's a really important word for helping you understand your BPD. I'm going to explain what they are, and then I'm going to give you some examples, and then we can go from there. So a trigger is something that sets off a memory or a flashback, transporting the person back to the event of his or her original trauma. So something will happen, like a gun, think about that gun, the trigger goes and bang, something happens. So something's triggered in you and you have an emotional response that takes you back to where it was, where you originally had that emotional response. So it's kind of like PTSD in the fact that it's like a flashback. It triggers that same emotion that you had at the time of that emotional event. Now, triggers are really important with BPD because it's really important to understand what triggers you, what things upset you, what things make your levels go up. We'll be talking about measuring your emotions and levels in the next video. But the point is, you need to kind of learn when these triggers may happen so that you don't avoid situations because you're scared of it happening, but you're willing to be comfortable and confident to go into a situation that may trigger you, and then come out of it feeling good about yourself because you've managed to do it. Triggers are very personal, and they're different triggers for different people. And it depends on the flashback that's coming to mind, but it could be that perhaps you were abused as a child by a parent or caregiver, and that emotional reaction that you had then, the fear of it perhaps, when someone is disrespectful or hurtful to you in the present day, it takes you back to that original fear or anger that you felt from that other person. So it's a really emotional place, and think of that gun going off, bang, and that emotion being triggered. Now what happens is, we'll talk about, in the next couple of videos we'll be linking onto these triggers, but a trigger will happen, this will set your emotional level off, and then your behaviour will be perhaps a repeated behaviour, that a coping mechanism to deal with that. So if you had that abuse when you were younger, it may be that you went into withdrawn and with hiding and would stay away. So when something's triggered in the present day, you will then have the same reaction, maybe to be withdrawn or hide or run away. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of triggers just to further explain this. So for me, one of my triggers is a lot of anger and shouting and loud noises. Now, over Christmas, we had a games night, and everyone was getting really loud, and everyone was drunk, and well, not really drunk, but everyone had a few drinks, and I don't really drink that much, so I'd probably had a couple of beers, and everyone was really loud about this game, and I got a question wrong, and they were like, how did you get that wrong? And for me, and it was all kind of nerve-wracking because it's some people I didn't know as well, so my emotional levels were starting to go up. And when they were like, you don't know anything, that triggered something for me, that stupid, fat and ugly, that took me back to that place where I felt really stupid. So I was then playing this game with people, and I was feeling like I don't really know them, I don't really trust them, and it triggered a real emotional response. That's one of my triggers. Spending time with people that I don't trust. That makes me feel uneasy. It triggers it triggers something off, such as not wanting to trust people, and this then kind of makes our behavioural change. And what this links to is that we have these things called filters, and I'll be doing 2 videos on this, so I'm going to touch on it briefly. But the filters may be triggered because of what someone said. So a filter is how we view the world. So your triggers, your emotions, and your filters, they all work together, and it's about learning how to cope with those. I'll be talking more about that after I've gone through more about measuring your emotions and filters, which will be in the next few videos. What the whole aim of it is to really understand what triggers you and what you can do to prevent that trigger happening. So like I say, I've talked about a couple of mine. I'll just say a couple more. Driving in my car, that can trigger me if someone is road rage, or someone's going too slow, or and I'm in a rush, that can make me angry. People talking behind people's backs, bitchy, whispering, that triggers me, makes me very angry. Violence to humans, violence to children, violence to animals, that triggers me, makes me really angry. If I make a mistake when I'm doing something I'm really proud of or really pleased with, that will trigger emotion, this fear of failure. Of, when I was, a kid and I tried to do my homework, and, one of my parents would scream and shout at me when I got it wrong, and things like that. So it really is, it's almost like a kind of type of PTSD where you're, going back to that place. So I hope that's made sense. I hope you can take some of this information with you, and I would suggest, I've done a whole list of this. When I was in therapy, I wrote down a whole list of all my triggers. I'm not going to read them all out to you. I might put some in the description, maybe, I'm not sure, but write some down. Write things that maybe think of things that make you sad, think of things that make you angry, think of things that make you happy. I can have triggers that make me happy. Someone's saying, let's go out and enjoy the sunshine, let's go for a pub lunch or something like that. That'll make me feel happy. I'll be like, oh, we're all together, and so there can be positive things as well. But overall, it's understanding your triggers, understanding what triggers you, because what triggers you might not trigger me, and I want to hear about you. So everyone in the comments, but please put loads of stuff about your triggers, what triggers you, and do you have good triggers, bad triggers, and is this reflecting from stuff that's happened to you in your past that maybe a bit too caused too much distress. I hope you understood triggers. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow about measuring your emotional levels. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.